Invited to a cruiser potluck? Then the last thing you need is to spill the dish you made in the bottom of your dinghy. There are some great locking containers that are perfect for cruisers. Hi there, I'm Carolyn Sherlock, and on this episode of the Boat Galley podcast, I'll share my favorite locking bowls that will make sure your dish to pass ends up at the party. Hey, today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Lunatic Gear, makers of the hydration spray bottle, an odor-free dishcloth, and a self-cleaning washcloth. Lunatic offers practical gear designed to save water and reduce waste. A water bottle that doubles as a garden hose, and a dishcloth that doesn't get stinky. Oh yes, please, I use them both. Visit lunaticgear.com to learn more and use code BOATGALLEY to save 10% on everything. Lunatic offers innovative gear for your outdoor adventures. Okay, so your new friends that anchored next to you invited you for dinner aboard their boat, and you volunteered to bring a salad. When the appointed time comes, you hand your bowl of salad down to your mate, who's already in the dinghy. And just as you're handing it over, a fishing boat comes flying by with a huge wake, and the salad bowl gets dropped 6 feet into the dinghy. Whether this is a disaster or not depends on the bowl you had the salad in. And yes, bowls do have a much greater propensity to be dropped or tipped over when you're transporting them to a potluck from your boat. You can drop them just climbing up the companionway or getting out of the cockpit. Then there's getting into the dinghy ride itself, and either beaching the dinghy or handing it aboard your host's boat. Or, if you're at a marina, there's stepping from your boat onto the dock and then onto the other boat. Maybe Dave and I win awards for being the droppiest cruisers, but I don't think so. When it's a choice between you and the bowl is going to lose. Okay, so let's talk about what I'm looking for in a potluck bowl. First, I need non-breakable material. I want no leaks, in other words, a really tight seal on the lid, and a lid that won't come off, even if the bowl is dropped 6 feet or more. However, at the same time, I need a lid that's easy to put on and know that it's completely on. And I want like a 3 to 4 quart size, basically 12 to 16 cups. Now, I call it my potluck bowl, but I use it a lot just for the two of us. Prior to making any overnight passage, I'd make up a big bowl of pasta or rice salad we could dip into whenever we felt like it. And having it in something that basically can't spill as long as the lid is on makes it great because I simply don't take it out when it's really rough. These same characteristics make it good in the refrigerator, another place where things can spill with the motion of the boat. If you're not careful, lids will pop off, containers will tip over, and liquids will leak. It can happen even at the dock as you move things around to find something in the bottom of the refrigerator. Okay, my choice. Availability on these larger bowls seems to change from week to week. My favorites overall are the lock and lock bowls as they are incredibly tough and the latches just never seem to pop open unexpectedly. Lock and lock bowls go through times where they've got a bunch of potluck type options and they've got times that they don't. So I'm going to give you a couple other ones. My first choice is the lock and lock salad bowls. They come in either a 1-pack or a 3-pack. The soft plastic isn't going to break like glass or hard plastic can, even with a big drop, and the gasketed lid won't leak, particularly with the latching locks that all the lock and lock containers use. I've put links to these in the show notes rather than trying to tell you exactly which ones to look for. My experience is that the lock and lock latches just never pop open accidentally, but they aren't hard to latch or to open. And it's pretty easy to tell that they've been latched correctly. A lot of times with the press-on lids, I don't realize that they're not all the way on until after a mess has occurred. In the 3-piece set, the largest of the 3 bowls holds just over 14 cups, which by the time you get, some airspace in there and things like that, is generally enough of a dish for 8, maybe 10 people. It easily fits into our soft-sided cooler if I need to do that. The other 2 bowls hold 6 cups and 9 cups. If you don't need all 3 as bowls, they're really good for storing dry goods. Admittedly, the lock and lock bowls are not particularly decorative. They're not ugly, Our experience is that when transporting dishes from boat to boat or boat to shore, everyone uses practical bowls. The important thing is to get the food there safely. I've put a couple links to a couple other bowls also in the show notes, but frankly, the Lock and Locks are my favorites. But if you can't find them, you can try some of these others. Okay, hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Boat Galley Podcast and learned something. Please be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode.